Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an airline pilot, and today we are going to fly the RNP approach Zulu for runway 23 at Queenstown in New Zealand. This is a very scenic approach and we can see it here on the chart. We're coming from Okpet and we'll fly all the way down into the valley and then we'll make our turn to the final approach just a few miles prior to the runway. This is, as said, a very scenic approach and I am very much looking forward to conducting this one. Basic aircraft setup. We can enter the approach mode at this very point already as we are passing our intermediate approach fix at Okpet. And we are now following the FMC profile which we have programmed in here. So, quick look at this. Speed limit 210 I inserted manually, all the rest of the stuff here comes directly from the chart, and that I've inserted a further speed constraint of 180 knot at Quebec November 760. If we have a look on the chart, then this is pretty much what it is. So over here I want to have my speed reduced so that we can configure the aircraft for landing. That's the setup for what we are about to do, and the view outside is absolutely spectacular on this one. And this approach is actually limited to category Bravo aircraft in here, at least according to the chart, so that just provides us the opportunity to fly this with the citation, while other aircraft types, or while larger aircraft types, would actually not be able to get us in at all. Once again, on this one, it is our primary task as the pilot to monitor what is going on, and we will let the automation fly the approach for as much as possible so that we can have a good look out for the terrain as we're descending into the valley. Only when really required, we will disengage the autopilot on the turn to the final approach and fly the rest of the approach manually. Of course, it is tempting to do an entire approach like this by hand, and I can absolutely understand that. I'm a pilot just like you guys are as well. So we do have to apply a little bit of professionalism here though, and on an approach like this, we do have perfect visibility today, but imagine we were flying this in actual IMC. But even without the actual IMC, it is still our task as a pilot to get the airplane down safely, and that comes prior to the fun of hand flying an aircraft. So we are using the automatics of the working title G3000 in the Aircraft&Avionic updates over here, which do provide us perfect guidance on the way down. Once again, look at this routing. Those radius to fix legs are drawn absolutely perfectly here. Nothing to complain about at all, and this aircraft is able to fly us down with a very high accuracy and precision. And the view outside actually just confirms that if we look at this. On this one we do finally have a bit of time to look outside as well, so look at how close to the terrain this actually gets us. And when you are flying something like this, always keep in mind we are having good weather today, but you would be just as legal to fly this with a cloud ceiling at 2,800 feet in heavy winds, and just imagine heavy winds going over these mountains over here. So, things do look easy for us today though. We start reaching the point where we wanted to reduce our airspeed. Let's go flaps 1. It's a 3.35 degree glide path over here, so a little bit steeper than usual. Therefore our aircraft is going to reduce its airspeed a little bit worse than what we would normally expect. So it is a good idea to start configuring a little bit early to actually get your speed back like it's coming back right now. So we'll continue with the right turn into the valley here in a moment, and we can start seeing our airport appear over there. Once again, the view left and right. And do keep in mind, we are still within the area where we could be within the clouds over here. Minimum is 2,709 feet for this approach. That basically says it all on what we are allowed to do. So, coming up into the valley right now, descending below the tops of the mountains. Time to start reducing to our final approach speed, which is going to be 122 knots. And our airport is going to come up right over there in a moment. So, gear down. Flaps 2. Let's see, our landing lights are on. That's our runway. Flaps full, landing checklist. Landing gear down, flaps full, speed brake retracted, landing lights on, landing checklist complete. Okay, there's our field inside. Tiny bit offset due to the mountains on the left hand side there. We're through the minimum, we can continue, we are visual with the terrain. Do note that passing the minimum does not necessarily mean that you have to disconnect the autopilot. As long as there is good guidance available, you can always use the autopilot all the way down to the minimum U side. Which for typical autopilots is somewhere in the region of 200 feet. Okay, autopilot disengaged. Let's fly this thing down manually. I'm going visually onto the puppies right now. Okay, flight director's off. Those gusts are not very strong, but sufficient to get our airplane tossed around. Combine that with the shape of the terrain over here, and we do get some fairly interesting piloting done. And here we go. We have the speed brakes up. Thrust reverse as normal. 80 knots. Manual brakes. And we are going to vacate the runway over here. well, over there, onto the main apron. We don't want to go to the parking down there. Alright everyone, thank you very much for joining. I hope that you've enjoyed this absolutely beautiful approach, and I am very much looking forward to see you all again on the next one. As always, like, comment and subscribe, and if you do want to support the channel, you can do so through the Buy Me a Coffee link, which you can find in the video description below. For now, thank you very much for joining, and I'm looking forward to see you all again on the next one.